5, 4, 3.
Welcome to the Symphony channel. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome to Community Watch. Greg,
Doc,
how are you?
finding yourself?
Yeah, I was mesmerized by the new opening. I didn't know we were getting a new opening. Did you?
No.
Okay, all right.
I said it was a Symphony channel, so I mean.
Well, maybe the Symphony arranged for that, and we're grateful. So you're doing all right?
I am. I know you have some issues, but I know you're working through them, so you know.
Well,
I don't want to
always
put it out
have
there like issues,
No,
like you just got
and we don't need to reveal those to everyone, but yeah.
Yeah, but we're here, you know.
Yeah.
You know, we're here, so why complain? We'll do that later.
We will do that. We do have a show about the Symphony today, and it's not just an ordinary show about the Symphony.
It is not.
Not that any show we do about the Symphony is ordinary, but they've got some developments and special news that pretty excited about, in addition to the regular events they have planned.
And so now I know with some of these developments, you have more of a connection.
I do.
Indirectly.
We'll see if that benefits either of us in any way whatsoever, but
yeah.
So that's good. So this is going to be a very entertaining show, an important show for you to see. You don't want to miss it. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
I'm transferring to the University of West Georgia.
Columbia University.
Kennesaw State,
UGA, Loyola University in Chicago,
Grambling State.
Shorter University. I'm going to Greensboro College, and we all got our start at Georgia Highlands.
No matter where your educational journey takes you, you can get your start at Georgia Highlands College. Georgia Highlands College. Enroll, engage, excel.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We're very happy to have with us today Barbara Beninado. Welcome. Welcome
Good
back.
afternoon. Thank you. It's been a little while since I've been here. I appreciate it.
No, it hasn't been that long.
No, because we just had one other guest. We said it's between Barb and Miss Samuel, who's been on the show the most.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I don't
dear.
know. I wonder.
You just need to put us both on at the same time.
We really do.
There you go. Yeah. We'll both come on.
But I was thinking maybe I know we did one show about.
Probably right before the Christmas concert was the last one that we did.
Okay, so it's been a little while.
A little while.
And there's been some things going on.
We've got lots of great news to share with everybody today, so I'm real excited to be here. So,
Now I know. I guess it was last summer when we talked. I can't remember who was on the show with you. We had one show where there were a couple of guests from the Symphony without you. I don't know how that happened.
oh dear.
There was some concern about the Symphony.
Yeah, we're still doing okay. We've had one of the announcements that we do have is that the March concert, which is coming up, which is one of the reasons I'm here to speak to you, is March 22nd, Sunday, and it is out at Berry College. And one of the interesting things is that a woman out there who was with Berry College as a research librarian for many, many years, Judith Thompson, passed away. And in her will, she bequested the symphony a rather nice sum of money. And so this concert in March, and then hopefully next year's concert at Berry also, will be in her memory, and she will be sponsoring those. So that has been a really nice help to us in our bottom line of what we need to do to put on these concerts, because they are professional musicians. Many of them are local, and we're trying to get as many local musicians as we can in. One of the nice things about the Berry is the collaboration with Berry College. Many of our principal musicians also are faculty or help with their students out there. And so it's kind of nice to be able to, bring the concert to Berry College and utilize their beautiful Ford Auditorium and bring a concert. And it's been a great collaboration, and so it really was fitting to make those concerts in her memory, since she's kind of footing the bill for them. But they're between, 8, this concert is a little bit smaller string section and not, all 65 musicians. So it's probably going to run us between $8,000 and $10,000. And whereas then when we have the bigger concerts, they can run anywhere between $14,000 to $17,000, depending on the music being played and the number of musicians.
And you say that so casually. That's now so like.
Yeah,
that's a huge amount of money.
That's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. But the musicians get paid for being there for a rehearsal.
Yeah.
I mean, this is their time and their talent that they're sharing with us, and it's their livelihood. It's their bread and butter. So if they're not on faculty somewhere, they're teaching at one of the high schools, maybe one of the colleges. They bring in their own students to teach. I mean, these musicians work from early morning until late at night to benefit the culture of our community. So we really want to pay them back for their livelihood.
Well, let me ask you this, Barbara, because I really have no idea how this works. So musicians, you say professional musicians. So, I mean, do they sign a contract for the year, or do they just per performance?
It's really almost on a per performance. We usually have a personnel manager, and he usually sends out at the beginning of the season, once we know what's going to be played, kind of a, are you going to be available, put this on your calendar type thing. And so then we know who is going to be there, and we rely on our principals to be there as many of the concerts as they possibly can. Some of them do, for instance, our concertmaster Sanisha is also the concertmaster in Savannah. And so depending on who kind of gets on his calendar first, he may have a conflict. And but we try and get our principals and those people that are local onto the calendar, and then we kind of have to fill in with some other folks as needed.
Now, is there like a professional scale in which you pay people?
We do on where they sit in the orchestra. So, for instance, the concertmaster gets paid the most, and he has other responsibilities outside of just sitting in that first chair, every time. He is responsible for both the violin, well, really all the string sections. And in order for everything to work well, you want all the bows going the same direction at the same time. You kind of want the fingering to be the same, so that concertmaster looks at the music and makes those notations on the music so that everybody knows when you're supposed to use an up bow and when you're supposed to use a down bow, if there's an area of what do we do type of thing. And then all of our principals, which would be the first person in the section, they get a different rate, and then the section members get another rate. And we are trying to bring up that section member rate up a little bit so that we are a little bit more competitive with some of the other orchestras that are around here.
So I'm assuming then your skill level kind of dictates where you sit.
Exactly, and that's what one of the principals of each section, that's kind of their role, is if there's a new person in, is to try and figure out where they fit into the section. And it's not necessarily as big of a deal in the woodwinds and the brass, because sometimes you may only have 2 flutes, a principal and a second one. So, whoever you get is going to sit in that second chair. But in the violins, sections, and strings, where you have maybe 8 people in a section, then, you do have to kind of worry about where people are. You don't want necessarily, your weaker players up front, and so it just depends on the principal person for that section of the concertmaster, and then to some degree the director.
So is it competitive?
We really don't have it. I mean, in high school, I can remember when I played the violin, we had to we would be challenged. Let's say I was sitting in second chair violin, and the person behind me would say, I want to challenge Barb, because if I can play better than her, I want to be up in second chair. And so I was never in the first chair, let me tell you that. I was never in the first chair. But anyway, so, but that doesn't happen in our orchestra. I don't know if it does in other, orchestras, but usually it's kind of an audition type of thing, and you get placed.
So it can be pretty complicated.
It can be complicated. Yeah, our personnel manager works hard to get everybody there and get them all the information. We have to get the music distributed to everybody, and so that they can practice, hopefully, ahead of time before they show up for the rehearsal. First rehearsal, we want them prepared. So it's logistically, there's a lot of things going on in the background.
So given the changing size of the orchestra, depending on what you're doing, where are those decisions made?
A lot of times they go back to the conductor if there's any questions. That's the leader of the group. We do have kind of a players committee that we've just kind of formed, and one of the things that they've requested is that we do some auditions for the substitute list, because the feeling is that there are a lot of people in the area that have come in either because of moves, with a spouse, or because they took on a faculty position, and that we're maybe not utilizing them as well as we could. So that's something that we are thinking about and talking about. But that ultimately will be the conductor's decision.
Well, I guess really it becomes clearer when you talk about how involved it can be, why they're so expensive.
Yeah.
And why you spend so much of your time fundraising.
Right. Our goal this year is $130,000. I would like to see us raise $150,000 because, as you know, talking with me, several years ago with the economy and a lot of our investments that we had kind of as our cushion, we lost a lot of that. And so the last several years, it's been what's come in the door has gone right back out in paying musicians and paying for the cost of running the symphony. And I think that we're at that point where we're going to start making that turn again. The bequest from the Judith Thompson estate has allowed us to put a little bit beside as a cushion. What we'd like to do is raise money this year in 2015 and have it targeted for the 2016-17 season. So we really like to be able to have that money ahead of us a year and a half. It just makes budgeting that much easier and less stressful. Yeah. And so it's a matter of kind of building up that reserve again so that we do have that little time frame that allows us to work more efficiently and know what we've got in the way of being able to put in the concerts that the conductor wants us to.
And you don't have any fundraisers coming up, do you?
We do have some.
I'm shocked.
No.
We do have some. Imagine that. We have a March 22nd concert and April 25th concert, and I do want to try and mention those because those are both important concerts. But in addition to that, we do have the Debutante Ball, and there was just an announcement in the paper this past weekend that showed the 14 young ladies, I believe, that will be presented to society but it really is it's kind of has that old-fashioned kind of flair, but it really is it's just a nice fun party for family, and I think it's a special event for the fathers to be able to have that young daughter who has gone off to college. They have to be a freshman in college, and then they return, and it's just a really nice fun party, and lots of jazzy music and fun dancing afterwards. And so that's coming up, and that's always usually been one of our biggest fundraisers per year. We're planning on having another Rome Wine and Jazz Festival, and hopefully that will be again in November. We might adjust that time just depending on what's going on, but last year it was out at the airport, and we had a 1940s theme. The year before that we had a 1920s theme, and so it's kind of logical that we might go for 1950s, but that committee is going to be co-chaired by Liz Tierney and Kim Owens. And so we've got to get that committee together to make some of those decisions. This month we have the Symphony Games coming up, which is one of the fundraisers of our auxiliary, our guild, kind of the volunteer arm. And that is just an afternoon of playing whatever game you're used to. I mean, mostly it's bridge, but there also is usually a table of hand and foot, which is a form of canasta. That group gets a little bit noisy, so we have to... I'm usually at that table. Can you imagine?
Do you though? You're not a canasta guy?
I am not.
It's fun. So anyway, people can play mahjong, they can play we've had one table of poker one year, so it's just, kind of whatever. Then there is another fundraiser that I'm not able to release at this point in time. We just kind of came across it as we were doing some investigation about different websites and different orchestras around the country. And being from Omaha, Nebraska originally, I happened to go to the Omaha Symphony, and they have an interesting fundraiser that I think we may try and steal from them. I called and asked permission, and they thought we were far enough away from Omaha that it wouldn't be a contradiction. So
Well, I have a feeling
we'll see.
we'll hear more about
We
that.
will, yeah.
We're coming up on our break, and
Great.
you may have noticed that we have an empty chair here. Well, that's related to our topic today. Chair's going to be filled right after this, so stay with us.
I'm transferring to the University of West Georgia.
Columbia University,
Kennesaw State,
UGA, Loyola University in Chicago,
Grambling State.
Shorter University. I'm going to Greensboro College, and we all got our start at Georgia Highlands.
No matter where your educational journey takes you, you can get your start at Georgia Highlands College. Georgia Highlands College. Enroll, engage, excel.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We've been having a conversation with Barbara Beninato about the Rome Symphony. We've been joined by Dr. Sam Baltzer. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
And we haven't had you as a guest talking about the Rome Symphony before. So
That's right.
What has changed?
We made him an offer he couldn't refuse.
I was appointed to this position, 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, just a little bit.
And I'm real excited about working with the orchestra. I've enjoyed working with orchestras in the past, but it's been mostly things I put together on my own. So it's a real treat to have an organization to do some of the groundwork and some other people to work with, some colleagues, and so I'm very excited about the new position.
And that position is?
As conductor and artistic director of the Rome Symphony.
Okay.
So I've started the artistic director part already, and that's mainly a job of coming up with programming and venues and dates to kind of lay out, plan the season, and then I'll begin conducting in September.
So tell us, Barbara, a little bit about the situation that led to Sam becoming the new
Well, we
conductor.
hired Dr. Richard Pryor, I think 6 or 7 seasons ago, and he is conductor at the Emory University College Orchestra, and also does the Emory Youth Orchestra. And at that time, then he came on board with us. Since then, he has really kind of started climbing the ladder in terms of his presence in the orchestra community, even around the world, and then was commissioned by the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra to do a piece that he was an original composition for orchestra and choir. And then they hired him as their composer, as one of their composers. And so his responsibilities down in the Atlanta area had started to increase. And then he did take a position with the LaGrange Orchestra. And at that time, he let us know that, it was time for us to do something else. And we said, we know what we're going to do. And so I think the next day we called Sam and said, would you like to have a cup of coffee with us? And so it was an easy decision, an easy choice. And it was a pleasure to be able to extend that offer to Sam.
Well, it was something that when I heard, it just made perfect sense.
It does. It does.
Perfect sense.
Yeah.
Well, I'm grateful for a number of things, but one is how fast it happened, because sometimes these searches can take up to a year. And so to be able to jump right in and not have to kind of
It was a
wonder.
hard search because we had to open our back door and look out the window, and there it was.
But isn't it one of the beauties of the arts community of Rome is that
Right.
you really do have a lot of talented people.
Right, we do.
In this community.
We do. We have a lot, and we've gotten more in the last, probably, wouldn't you say, in the last 6 years? I think some of the faculty positions have been filled with some real talented people. Not that they weren't before, but they've opened up more positions. And again, like I said, we're trying to utilize them. Sam knows, everybody in the community, and the community knows them, And we did get input from the musicians, and they said, hey, you know, we think this is the guy, and we said, we think you're right. So, you know, it was an easy decision. There was essentially no search. It was, we know who we need to go to.
Well, it also seems beneficial to have someone in the community.
It is. Yeah.
Since the Rome Symphony is a community organization, and
Right.
certainly not only your performances but your fundraising and everything you
Right.
do is so community based.
It
Like
is.
coming on TV again.
Coming on TV.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you know that's got to be.
It is. It was.
a good
It
thing.
was. Yeah. It was a unanimous decision, so it was the right thing to do.
Yeah. And I know that Sam has been busy at Georgia Highlands, where he and our other full-time music faculty member, Robert Adams, have been creating a music program from scratch,
Right.
which was, I know, a new and frightening experience, and may still be somewhat. But hopefully that will tie in well.
Well, the position at Highlands is working out very well. We've added 2 music degrees, and the Northwest Georgia Winds is now functioning not only as a community band, but also as Georgia Highlands Band. We started a jazz band that's been playing for our championship Chargers
Yeah.
basketball team.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about the team going to the national level, and so we're able to play for them. So it's all good, and I'm hoping that Highlands can have a larger kind of exposure to the community in the arts field and like that. So I think it's a win-win all the way around.
Well, it certainly, I think, will help in your recruiting efforts for students out at the college. I know many of the students who are interested in music are just beginning to learn about that option. So hopefully that connection will work in both directions. I would think so.
I certainly hope that'll be the case. In the meantime, it's been fun kind of diving into the planning process for next year's season, thinking about concert themes and ideas and soloists and pieces that I've wanted to do for a long time. And
Well, is it too early to reveal plans? or-
we could talk about some of the things that are fairly well certain to happen.
Yeah, I think so.
In September, we're hoping to collaborate with the Rome Independent Film Festival to do a concert of film music. And we're hoping to play live music during the projection of a Charlie Chaplin silent film.
What? Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Maybe
That's
be the
great.
first time that we've done something like that in Rome. This is the Charlie Chaplin was making these movies 100 years ago, so we'd like to call the concert a century of cinema and feature some of the great movie music over the last 100 years. For the October concert, I've talked to Dr. Jericho Vasquez, the piano professor at Shorter, and we're fairly certain that he'll be performing the Tchaikovsky Piano Concerto No. 1 on that concert, which is a big, festive showcase piece, and Jericho, I know, will play it beautifully. The Nutcracker Ballet that we did last year for the first time through ROME, this year we hope will be a collaborative effort between the Symphony and ROME and Berry College and the dance studios in town. So at least the fall is pretty well laid out with with marquee events in September, October, and November. And then the spring semester is lining up, I think, fairly well too.
I'm just thinking it has to be very exciting for you to have at your disposal, so to speak, just, to have this organization behind you so that, like you said, you can do more of the things you want to do without having to do all the work by yourself.
Right. Well, I enjoy that part of it too with ROME. I've done everything from moving chairs and stands to designing posters and programs and taking tickets around and lining up ushers and lighting people and sound people. But I won't miss that part. Well, I still plan to do all of those things with the Northwest Georgia Winds, the Clock Tower Jazz Ensemble. Those groups will continue as they have in the past. But with the orchestra now, to have some help will be a real treat.
Now, I don't know I don't know if Barbara has told you about the fundraisers, but there are many fundraisers.
Many.
So I think there may be some work ahead for
All right,
you.
all
in
right.
that
He
Well-
just
area
has to
as well.
he just has to show up with a smile at
Yeah,
those.
you know, I mean,
That's the easy part. That's the easy part.
I have to learn how to play canasta. Is that the deal? Add to my solitaire skills. And,
See, I just heard something about Alzheimer's. You're supposed to learn something new every day.
Yeah, that's
So,
right.
you know, instead of a new
That's-
language or learning an instrument, we
Yeah.
can learn to play a card game. And
Yeah, there you go. So, well, those things are kind of part of the job,
Yeah.
and especially being here in town, you know, I can have a little more of a presence. So,
Yeah, and I'm sure you will.
uh-huh.
Yeah. I know we have just a few minutes left, so I want to make sure you have an opportunity to talk
Yeah.
about the
We've got
current season.
right. We've
That's
got a
not
couple
completed
concerts.
yet.
Right,
So-
we have a couple
so,
concerts.
what is yet to come for this season?
The most recent one that's coming up is March 22nd, which is a Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock, and it's going to be the one that's out at Berry College. Some great music that's going to be played. Handel's two pieces that are very, very popular, and often you hear them together, Handel's Water Music and then the music for Royal Fireworks. And also Purcell's, is it Purcell or
Purcell.
Purcell? I always get it wrong. His Trumpet Voluntary, which is, you know, something that everybody has probably heard at almost every wedding they've gone to, and it's just a beautiful piece. The other thing is that I just learned there is an associate conductor with the Rome Symphony Orchestra, and his name is Dr. Nathan Lambert. He is out at Berry College, and he is a violinist, and he's kind of a backup in case Sam breaks an arm and can't do a rehearsal. We've got an associate that can step in there if it's needed, but Nathan is our concertmaster at this one, and he and Dr. Chris Carlisle and Annie Camp are going to be playing a couple of pieces as a trio that they just informed me. So that's kind of a new bonus to the program that I think will be great. And I believe it is like tango music or something like that.
okay,
And he
okay.
told me that
Piazzolla?
Piazzolla. There you go. See, that's why he's here. He's the brain.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that concert, and it's on a Sunday afternoon, which is a great time for people to get out and come to a nice spring concert. And then on April 25th, we have another concert. That's a Saturday evening at 7:30, and that's our traditional young artist competition that was started when Dr. Richard Pryor came, and we had 18 young students from both college and high school that competed for this a couple of weekends ago, and we selected 4, 2 from the high school level and 2 from the collegiate level, who will then perform their pieces with the orchestra. One is Matt Soares, who will be playing trumpet. He's a junior at Berry College and a student of Dr. Adam Hayes. Avery Harris, who is a vocalist, he's a bass singer. He's a sophomore at Shorter University, and he's a student of John Tenbrink. We have May Chin, who is a 9th grader at Cumberland Academy. She's a violin student and a student of Dr. Sanisha Sirak, our RSO concertmaster. And then also Lauren Gothrow, who's a senior at Darlington, playing violin. And again, she is also a student of Dr. Sanisha Sirak, our concertmaster. So it's a great opportunity to have, and I'm thrilled that Georgia Highlands is having their music. And hopefully one of these days we'll be able to have a Georgia Highlands student
That would be
auditioning,
spectacular.
which would be great. And they'll play, and then in addition to their pieces that they're performing, the orchestra will perform Prokofiev's Peter and the Wolf, which was commissioned in 1936. So it's more recent, not a Handel and Bach, as centuries old. It was interesting because I was doing a little bit of research. But
We're going to I had to cut you, Barbara.
Take a
We have
break?
to take a
Okay.
break.
We'll hear about it, though.
All right.
We'll be right back after this. Stay with us.
Seven 7,000 high school students drop out every school day. That's a line of desks more than 4 miles long. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We've been talking with Sam Baltzer, who is the new conductor and artistic director for the Rome Symphony, and Barbara Bedonato about the current season and the next one, which is still being put together. For more information, we go to the website, romesymphony.org.
That's correct. Org. That's correct.
All right. Well, thank you both very much, and thank you for being with us. We'll see you next time.